Hi, good afternoon, everyone. And I'm not going to be on for a massively long time today. There's not huge amounts that are any different to what was said yesterday. You can still see my squiggles from yesterday there. That's the sort of price action I'm looking for to confirm. At the moment, we're neither confirming nor not what's going on. Market's a bit easier in Bitcoin. Let me guess, is the US 500's down? Yes, it is. So it's kind of very sensitive to overall market sentiment at the moment, and the dollar. What's the dollar doing? Dollar's on a slight rise. What's this, an 8 hour? So it's hopping upwards. Let's have a look at the dollar on volume. Yeah, low volume drop. So I'm going to guess it carries on higher. So dollar being higher is obviously slightly bearish for Bitcoin, though I do expect them to disassociate themselves. Once Bitcoin gets the bit between its teeth, it's not really going to give a toss what the dollar does, literally. Hey Shazahmed, so he's just responding there. Anybody saying, yeah. And so Alex Ferdines, hi there Alex. Vicente Carcayada, please activate subtitle in English. Okay, from Spain, it is more easy to read English than speak English. Thanks. Well, okay. The way subtitles work on YouTube is that after I've done this, like 3 hours afterwards, then the subtitles will be okay and I'll be able to add them to the video. So if you re-watch Vicente, you should be able to get more out of it. But that's the only way I know to do. I don't know of any facility to do them as I go along, though there may be one that you can educate me if that's so. So as I was saying, we're still hanging around the center line. Even if we dip down to the bottom, that's still not necessarily bad news. We have been up and down several times on this one. Check out the daily volumes, and you'll see that these downward moves have been accompanied by dropping in volume here, and the upward moves involve increased volume. So in my opinion, we're still looking bullish. I'm literally just watching the center line, and if we carry on and bounce up here and do what the squiggle says, I mean, what we can do is just grab the squiggles and move them along one, because this is what we're hoping for. We want to break the upside, potentially come back, though as I said yesterday, Bitcoin doesn't always retest, so it is quite a hard one to judge. But a decent break above this channel, I don't think that will be a fake out personally. Obviously there's a chance it's a fake out, but I don't think necessarily it will be. So that is kind of the Bitcoin thing. We've had Ethereum try once more to get through the line of death. Seems like my Ethereum drawings have vanished. I don't know why all my stuff seems to have vanished. Came back when I put Bitcoin up. Odd. Yeah, I'm not sure. My Ethereum stuff doesn't seem to be there anymore. Let's just go back there in case I pull this up. Yes. Nope, really not there. Weird. Anyhow, as you all know, around 1770, 1765, there is a fairly hard set of resistance there in Ethereum. So Alex Ferdinand, would you say $30 is a good buy area for EGLD USDT? I don't know. So have a look at a weekly. Kind of similar to the Bitcoin story. $30. I mean, it's not given I'd say 30 is a good spot. Yeah, 30 is about right. I wouldn't put if you put a gun to my head, I'd be buying this, not selling it, because it's crypto and I'm bullish at Bitcoin, and Bitcoin pulls everything around with it. Alex says, I think it's hard for BTC to rally from your first visit in the 1720 area one more time, and that is fair to say, which is why I'm telling everybody the entire time, try not to be too sort of stuck into 8 hour. Where the hell the drawing's gone again? How weird is that? Drawings keep coming and going. I don't know, must be a log in log out thing probably on TradingView, but we've got the channel here, which I don't mind trying to draw another one. And let's just look at how I draw the channel again. So if I draw a rough channel in here, and then what I try and do is I align the center of the channel to get as many touches as possible. So that's looking about like the center, maybe a tiny bit. Oh, and back they come. I don't know what's going on. It's a trading view thing. So there's the channel I'm seeing. So yeah, can it visit? I'd be very surprised now to see a further dip, but I don't think it's out of the question. You know, that would be the ultimate, and let's put everybody off. But this all looks accumulative to me. Now you could have a shakeout, because after all this is a rising channel here, and they often get finished by a dip below before going higher. So all I'm saying is we still haven't seen the behavior we want to see to be super confident and just go all in. Admittedly, I'm all in because I'm DCAing in because 20,000, simple as that. And Alex also said it looks like a failed high could be in place for BTC, leading to lower prices before the rally. Well, we still haven't had this next high up here. Now, if we see another bounce off here, then maybe you're right, and it could stay in this groove for weeks. Who knows? But that's what I think anyway. Are there any more questions? You know, it seems to be a sort of corrective day today. Not much going on. You've still got US 500 sitting here, waiting to break out of this range. And if it does, I think people will get short, and it will just squeeze higher. You can read that in my one of my ideas from a couple of months ago, where I do feel that, you know, you might end up with a short squeeze here. Right, now I know I've not been on very long, but unless I get a few more questions, there's not very much to say today. And though I've said I'll stream every day, I can only come up with so much material, which is exactly the same as previous. In fact, I might as well just cover the previous material for the benefit of everybody whilst I've still got mine. So if we go to, say, a 3-day. So for those of you who are wondering why I'm biased long because monthly Elliott 1, 2, 3, we think we're at the 4. It's stayed just above, it's closed above this one level to make it a legit 4, and that gives us a bias long. And what we're looking for is a 1, 2, or a B up and a C down. We don't know yet which is which. We don't know if this was A, that was B, and this is C, in which case we go up because that makes that 4, or what we had originally, which is this being A, which we favour currently, and move up to sort of 50 odd, 53-ish for B. Yeah, probably just go higher than 50 just to really get everybody moving, and then down for C. So what I'm trying to do with my DCA is ride this AB move. And if it turns out to be the 1-2 move, it's still a good trade. Okay, well, that seems to be it. So I've covered all I wanted to cover. Somebody, Oro Pastorwood, AU 1-2 bring BTC down as well. Now we see the thing is, the AU will be caused by DXY, but the thing is, once crypto gets a bit between its teeth and decides it's going to rally, it could not give a monkey's what DXY does. Okay, now it may not do that yet, and though I'm looking at what looks to me like bullish price action, it can stay here, and it really can stay here for a long time if it wants to. You can look at stochastics, weekly stochastic, it's got plenty of room to go up. Monthly stochastic is oversold. 3-day stochastic, room to go up if it wants. Daily, room to go up. 12-hour, there's room. It's looking a bit sad for itself right now because of the recent drops. Stochastic is this thing down at the bottom, by the way, in case you're wondering what the hell I'm talking about. Tom Bourbon says, thanks Paul, great as usual. Pleasure. For goodness sake, if you guys, like, subscribe and spread the word, share this channel, because there's sensible discourse going on here, not all this buy Bitcoin, sell Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin, look at this, look, my name is Carl, and I can't do the whole thing. I'm bringing you this cryptocurrency update. It's just nonsense. Kim Nguyen, if you don't think 2018 bull run has much weighting, why do you count it as a monthly one? Well, because it is the monthly one, Kim. Yeah, so the 2018 bull run gave us the monthly one, blue one there. And that's kind of how these things work. And this, this instrument has been pretty solid in its Elliott wave style action. Now, what perhaps you're confused with is that I don't like comparing 2018 price action with 2022 price action, because all the parameters are different. And so while you might get coincidentally some kind of price action shape, some sort of chart shape that looks a bit the same, it really isn't worth betting money on. That's all I would say. Alex says, Paul, what do you think about the Pring-Turner business cycle? Bonds, stocks, commodities falling in this order, then recovering in the same order. It all makes sense, okay? If you read enough about the markets, the trouble is, what you've got to do, and I mean this, and this is what we do in the Mayfair method. And so if you want to see the kind of stuff we do, just subscribe to us on Discord. The link is in my signature on TradingView, and I think it's also in my signature on it is. It's also in my signature in YouTube as well. But what we do is we study all these things. We study Dow theory, Gann. We study Wyckoff. Something like Pring-Turner business cycle. These are all things to absorb and have in your head. Okay, but what you want to do is take out of them the best parts, and don't try and analyze every single twist and turn in the whole sort of the typical thing is to try and analyze every twist and turn in Elliott wave, whereas all we're using is trying to come up with where we think the fall is going to be, the monthly fall. This one here, let's get monthly. So this monthly fall, we figured it would be somewhere between here and the monthly one, and it's turned out to be on the monthly one, and that gives us a bias along, and it is that simple. It's given us a bias, and this bias could go on for months, even a year. We're reaching the point where we're expecting Bitcoin to go up in general, have an uptrend. Might go A, B, C. C could be higher than this, by the way. It might go A, B, C, but it will be in an uptrend, and that gives you a great advantage when you're trading. So as with all these things, learn about them, but take away the things that you think are useful. So don't just believe Pring-Turner business cycle. Go and actually look at evidence. See what you think. I mean, it's really long-term stuff, which we like. After all, I'm looking to be long Bitcoin for 5 years once I get finally in. As in, I will be selling at B, most likely in this case. I do think C will come afterwards, but and then I'll hang on. I mean, what I can do is just hang on, ignore B, and just sit there and wait for 5 years, because I think we will get plus 130,000 Bitcoin at some stage, and it's only then that I'm interested. Can I look at ZN1? Hang on, what's this? Mehdi on TradingView. Can we look at APP, Aplovin Corporation? Have a quick look. Not enough. Haven't got enough data. Afraid. Have I even got enough to give you some kind of guide as to? Well, what I would say is use the most useful indicator, which everybody who watches me knows what I'm going to be bringing out right now. So since the top there, use the volume profile. So most of the volume is around here, and so you've got no real clues. Price action is really not enough to tell you very much here. I'm looking to see if there's an Elliott wave down, and I'm not really seeing one. So no, can't really help you with APP. ZN1. What we ought to do is bring this down to the tippity top. So you do have some action around here, and you are at a turning point. So there's 2 turning points down here. On there. In fact, it's really kind of a big chunk of volume sitting in here. We've yet to break out of convincingly. So that's kind of the analysis I would say on T-notes. That's on a daily. Let's have a look at it recently. get a shot of this now. You see it? Yeah, I'm not reading too much into that. I can't really see any obvious signs and ideals of what to trade, I'm afraid. So no, not much help. Weekly trend-based figures 618 and the 120 on a 2.618 on 110, which are historical levels of performance. Okay, I'm game. Let's try and work out what Alex is trying to say. Here's the weekly. I'll leave these other things in. So what he's looking at is fibs. So I'm going to guess, let's turn that magnet on. So 1.618 is on around 120, as you say. 2.618 is on around 110. So yeah, you have kind of got that. If you think it carries on going south, that is. So yeah, you do have those. One of the things I would look at if I'm taking this kind of an analytical approach, is that on the right one? That's not quite. There it is. So if let's get rid of these things. That one is bang on the 1.618, and that is a volume level as well. But notice it went through it, and then went through it again without much of a pullback. So I've got a feeling the Elliott wave isn't really happening here, because if you're saying that's one, then not really seeing much wave action in this 2 to 3. But yeah, you can still use the fibs, and it's hit 2. So yeah, it could target 110-ish. Alex Ferdinand said, yeah, the bond stone, no sign of bullish momentum. I'd say it could go lower. Well, it could do, betting against the trend is normally, this is a downtrend. It's got some action here, which is only to be expected. The more data you get, the more you can feel what's going on. Didn't turn around significantly here just yet, so there is definitely room on the downside. Yes. Kim says, can you look at Microsoft? Yeah, okay. Well, you're kind of thinking in terms of monthly 1, 0, 1, 2 somewhere here. That could be a 3. It's not very clear though. And 4's got as far down as here if it wants to. You only have to look at things like Netflix to see what can happen in situations like this. I don't really like that because I can't really see a weekly move in here. So I'm going to just delete it because it's not really that helpful. So again, when things don't fit the sort of patterns we use to trade, then we tend not to trade them. Now, I'm not telling you not to trade Microsoft. I'm saying that we try and stick to high probability stuff where we feel that our theories make sense. I can put some levels in Microsoft for you. I'd say, switch that off. I'd say you've got one kind of there. Oops, I might as well just pick this one up now. 2 levels there. That's obviously one that's even bounced off it. And on the upside, you've definitely got some action around this area. So in general terms, if the markets go up, Microsoft will probably go up. I do think the market will go up. It's just a question of when. And so, I don't know. I'm not sure if I want to buy or sell Microsoft here. I'd rather see it dip down to the lower area again and perhaps have another go at this level, see what happens, and if it acts as strong support, then I'd be happy going long. Don't think I want to short equities right now for reasons that are in my idea. What else we got? vRealize says SNX. Okay, I am game for a laugh. I'm assuming you mean this one. TD Synex Corporation. Well, it's got a number of targets down here. It wants to get there if it can. It's kind of touched it, hasn't it? And bounced off. But really, you know, before you'd be really super confident, you'd want to see it have another little look at this area, or even as low as this. So that's quite significant. It's not the clearest thing, but again, you know, you want to be into stuff where you think, you know, see how deep that's gone. That's the sort of level you want to see. And take your chances in things like that. Obviously, a lot depends on stories in stocks. You know, for price levels, I mean, Netflix has still got room. Oh, here comes my levels all coming back to me again. So these are the levels I picked before, and it looks like they've been reasonably decent. You know, so buying it down here. Filecoin. Well, these are stocks, and obviously they have. Do you mean Greystone Filecoin Trust? I assume you do. Oh, there's nothing I can give you on that one. BAC. You can start to look a little way into this and start sort of tentatively giving it some of this. Is that a 3 looking for 4? Or is that 3, 4? There's only 1, 2, 3, 5. So that could be a 3 followed by a 4 there. And so if you're trying to iron out which one you think it might be, try a bit of this. So that's they could be the 3s there. So the 3 could be here, meaning the 4 here. That breaks this though, so I don't like it. I'd see that as a 3, and I'd say we're either had the 4 or looking for one on a monthly. And inside, what do we got? That's like some kind of running flat one there. It's possible that's the 3. If we look at the fibs on that, what do we get? Yeah, it's not too bad. So if you take that, then we're in 3, 4, and you know, trading a corrective move, never a brilliant idea. So that's Bank of America Corporation. And vRealize again, SNX Prep, Crypto. Okay, I'm going. SNX Tetheris. Again, not very much data, you know. Can't get much out of that, mate. Certainly won't be any waving anywhere. We can go into some daily stuff to see if there's any clues, but this is not what I would call an institutionalized coin. And all it's done is rally back up to the level, having broken this obvious level here, which is pretty much on price. It's rallied back up to it and doesn't know what to do. It has, to be fair to it, it's made it higher. I would say that if you get, yeah, again, this is real gun to my head stuff, because I didn't want to trade this crap. This is crap. But you know, if you do get a new high from here, then I would say that, you know, for choice, I'll go long. Right, okay, that's probably enough for all of you. I'm not bored, but some of you might be, so I'm going to call it for today, and I'll see you all guys, let me see, tomorrow. Yeah, I should be on tomorrow. Take it easy. Oh, before I forget, like, subscribe, share.